What's up, gamers, and welcome back for more WotC-20. Today's matchup is Moltres, or Wildfire Moltres, versus Machamp. And right off the bat, it looks like it's going to be two Cleffas in the active, very WotC start, with a Machop on the bench and a Center on the bench for Machamp. Machamp getting turn 1 here. And it will just be a very quick attempt to eke, but it's a tails on the baby rule. So off to Moltres, fire attached from hand to active for Cleffa, also straight into an eke, but that one actually hits. So we'll see a DCE go back into the deck. No good chance at a hand peep, and straight to a Strength Charm attachment for Tool onto the bench to Machop. Worth noting, if a DCE can be found here, we could donk. And Elm comes out, okay. I think if you find a DCE here, you gotta go for it. But first we will drop half of our deck on the floor and shuffle off all of this Eek and Elm fatigue. Worth noting in this matchup that Moltres uses, and you can see them right there, Lickitung for stall. Very good card. They are from jungle, but the tongue wrap is really the attack that made it popular much later than it was printed. 10 damage, 1 colorless pip to get it off, and you can paralyze on a flip. So very good stall card, very big HP, but oops, you're fighting a Machamp deck. So super effective damage, not great. And the DCE is found. Will they go for it? Cleffa to bench. No more trainers for turn with Elm. Is he gonna go for the dunk? Donk not attempted, it's an Eek. The Eek doesn't work either. And now passing back. That is no longer a donkable board. 4 basics from the hand to the bench for Moltres. Lots of familiar faces. We all know Sentret for Furret for energy fetching with Scavenger Hunt. You might be familiar with the Fossil Magmar. 70 HP basic is pretty good. Smokescreen, 1 fire attached, 10 damage, similar to Lickitung. It's not paralysis, but if the defending Pokemon tries to attack during your next turn, your opponent flips a coin. If tails that attack, does nothing. So a DCE comes down onto Lickitung. Usually you don't see Supersonic for Lickitung, but you always can. And Eek looks like it popped off. So back to Machamp's side. That Machop getting powered up on bench with another fighting energy. Gone are the opportunities to donk. Looks like an item finder for Elm. So no more trainers for turn again. Now, while we're able to talk about it, that Moltres does have a fighting resistance. So even though there's a fighting weakness on a lot of the support mons for Moltres, Moltres itself is going to be able to absorb a lot of hits from the Machamp lines at least. Of course there is Hurricane Punch, and if that goes for 120, Moltres goes to the bin. Alright, off of that Elm. Furret is found. Center evolves. Looks like both sides will be bringing Furret to today's match. And why not? Scavenger Hunt is incredibly potent. You can spinning attack for 30 with the DCE, but you can also put 2 cards from your hand back into your deck to take any energy card you want after showing it to your opponent. And we're going straight for the Eek here. Tails again, but Elm keeping things moving for Machamp. Big hand now for Moltres. And a Healing Field coming out, another stall card. Once per turn, each player is allowed to flip a coin. Or at least on their respective turns, you flip a coin. If heads, heal 20 off your active. And an Erica comes down, super fun trainer card. Doesn't see a ton of play, hard to use. Lets you draw 3, then your opponent may draw up to 3, I believe. I believe it's an up to. Yep, it's an up to for both of you, and it looks like an ER just hit the DCE off of that Machop. Fire attached to good glare. I forget, Moltres is over there. And an Imposter Oak Revenge sitting in hands. Sorry, just Imposter Oak, not Imposter Oak Revenge. Another Eek succeeds. So keep an eye on Imposter Oak for a final knockout. Your opponent has to shuffle their hand into their deck and then draw 7, so sometimes it's the final knockout move of a mill deck. ER hits DCE on Lickitung from Machamp's side. Seven cards in hand. Is there a copycat? There is. Big copycat. Still moving without those Eeks. Maybe could have scavenger hunted before copycatting if the cards were going back anyway, but we'll see if something specific was being sought. You can see a fan club, can't use that though with the support for turn consumed, and there's a gust. Mr. Mime comes down, so Vending Mime reprinted in the Classic Collection in the Blastoise deck has a power dampening shield where as long as it's on the bench, there are no weaknesses or resistance for Pokemon in play. So no more fighting weakness for the normal types on Moltres' side, but also no fighting resistance for Moltres itself. I assume that was a Trader resolving. I didn't see the card go in, but Machoke being pulled out like that makes me think Trader came down. Oh yeah, it's on the board. Okay. Alright, then let's talk Machoke. That is Expedition Machoke, 80 HP, Punch for 20 with the DCE, and then Fighting Colorless is 50 off of Mega Kick. There is also a Skyridge Machoke, so we don't have to talk about that right now. Cleffa will retreat. Machoke coming in with that Strength Charm. It can punch for a knockout on this Cleffa. Looks like it's going to be a punch attempt. That's a Tails. Furret now coming down onto the board for Moltres. And a Fire Attach goes to Lickitung, so Tongue Wrap could start happening. Decent hand. There's a Copycat, a Comp Search, bunch of other trainer cards. You don't have to eke it away here. You could just start stalling, and that looks like what we're going to move into. Healing Field is down. Weaknesses are off. Resistances are off. Interestingly enough, Igglybuff could turn off the Mime, if so desired, for just Moltres' turn. Alright, Tongue Wrap attempt, and that Machoke is paralyzed. Now, if it evolves, it's no longer paralyzed. And it evolves, so it's no longer paralyzed. And we are looking at Expedition Machamp with Terraforming. Looks like we will be resolving the Fan Club for 1 first, but Terraforming, if you're not familiar, once per turn before you attack, you can keep the top 4 cards of your deck, rearrange them as you like. Can't be used if Machamp is affected by a special condition, like paralysis, but currently it's A-OK. Iron Fist 2, a good attack. 1 fighting energy away, but for it's on the board, I'm sure we'll see it. Iron Fist is 50 plus, where you count the number of Pokemon you have in play with damage counters on them, flip a coin, and if heads, you do 50 plus 10 for each of those damaged Pokemon. So that includes itself. So it's going to be a 50 flip for 60 here. And then there's the plus 10 from Strength Charm. Either way, not a 1-hit KO on Lickitung, and it doesn't look like Healing Field is going to be rolled for on this Machamp. Would rather keep some damage. And 120 HP, that's going to be hard for Moltres to address. Gonna really just have to stall and white knuckle it here. A little bit of thinking. Ooh, Moltres is gonna get gusted, but there is... Yeah, this would be a flip for knockout. It hits the 70, Mime's on board. Moltres only has one fire on it though, and that was a heads. So 50 on the Iron Fist goes up to 60 with the heads flip because the Machamp itself is damaged, and Strength Charm pushes it to 70. With Mime on board, that takes also away the resistance of Moltres. It goes to the bin. That's our first prize. Moltres trying to think what to do here. This is where the game will probably slow down. As you can see, there's focus bands. The focus band wasn't committed to Moltres. Usually that's where it sits. Not always, though. You can also see some chances in the deck, so there's opportunities for Scrunch, Tongue Wrap, focus band, the fun stuff. Moltres number 2 hitting the bench. That was off a comp search. Focus band now onto the benched Moltres. It can now set up easier. We'll see if there's a scavenger hunt from Fur at first before that copycat, which looks like it was being considered as the supporter for turn. And instead we're just gonna Eek. Free Eek against that Machamp. Oh, a little bit of chit chat. Yep, now realizing ordering, maybe wanted to scavenger hunt, that's okay though. Goldberry coming down for a benched Machop. I think if you're Machamp here, you just start swinging. Trying to get through any stall tactics, get through babies, get through focus bands, get through paralysis, get through tongue wraps, get through scrunches. Worth noting with Furret, you can always go get a Warp Energy to remove a paralysis. You can always play a Gust to get rid of a Scrunch. There are ways around those as well. And now we will Terraform, look at the top 4. See a Fighting Energy there. And an attempt on that Cleffa is going to be good. Iron Fist Cleffa. Don't have to roll for the damage augmentation. Lickitung now coming up again. No weakness or resistance on anything. Scyther gets picked up. That's an interesting stall card. Would be nice if it could have that fighting resistance. Instead, Cleffa will join the bench, fill the bench for the board. Fill all benches for all the boards. And one fire attach comes down onto benched Moltres. Gonna need a lot more than that to start milling effectively. And Elm coming down, I have to imagine Moltres is ahead on the drawing game here. Getting off a lot more Eeks than Machamp's side is. This is the tough thing about Moltres. You're not taking your prizes, you're operating with a 54 card deck. As your opponent takes prizes, they are effectively working with a 60 card deck. Or, you know, 59, because final prize. Tongue Wrap up. Oh, okay. It's a Tails on the Tongue Wrap. So Machamp goes to 20. And here I don't... Or is it 30? Looks like 30. No, it's 20. It should be 20. I can't read that die. Machoke number 2 comes down, evolves the Goldberry Machop on the bench. We're terraforming again here, since we can, since we're not paralyzed. And there's a Warp. I'd put that on the top for when you really need it if you get paralyzed. Pretty big hand for Moltres fanned out just then. Alright, and it looks like that was another head, so early tails, but now a good string of heads from Machamp's side. Iron Fist getting the damage augmentation, putting that Lickitung up to 60 damage. Healing Field immediately pumping it back down to 40. That Lickitung having a massive 90 HP on a basic. But one more Iron Fist will take it out here, regardless of flip. Scoop Up in hand, we'll keep an eye on that, as well as a Town V from Moltres. Scoop Up used to kind of take damage off board, keep things stally. And it looks like we're going to scavenger hunt with Furret to grab a fire energy. And if you're not familiar with Scoop Up, it does see some play. We've seen it paired effectively with Rocket Zapdos. Obviously it works well here in Stall and Mill. But you choose one of your Pokemon in play, so it can be benched or active, and you return the basic Pokemon card to your hand, discarding all other attached cards. Tongue Wrap. No paralysis again, just 10 damage to Machamp. Now I'd start leveraging that healing field just to keep Machamp healthy but still able to Iron Fist for 60. This will be the healing field roll. Another head, so many heads now in a row. That's WotC for you. Fighting attached to the other benched Machoke line. Terraform for 4. We're definitely going to see a knockout here. I can see a Machop and a Machoke there, I think. And that'll be a knockout on this Lickitung. Iron Fist doesn't even need to flip for it. 3 prizes remain for Machoke. Unclear how many cards are in deck for either side, but I don't think we're very close to the Mill Dream right now. Recycle Energy coming down onto Cleffa. That'll at least come back to hand if this Cleffa gets knocked out. And there will be a Town V, putting 5 cards back if there are 5 targets. Can't take fewer unless there are not that many targets. And it's going to be mostly Fire Energy and a Moltres. So 4 Fire and a Moltres back into the bin, or out of the bin, back into the deck. Off of that Town V. Looks like we're setting up for an Eek here to go and find some Fire, get Moltres up and running. And that's an Eek. So back to Machamp here. DCE attaches to benched Machoke with Goldberry, so that one's ready to go. Just need to find another Machamp card, terraforming, probably digging, looking for it. You can see a Fighting Energy, that other Machoke just keeps moving down the ladder. No scavenger hunting. Are they going for Iron Fist? Nope, that was, well, they were going for Iron Fist. I meant Healing Field. The answer was obviously not. Instead, hits through the Baby Rule with Iron Fist. 2 prizes remaining for Machamp. There's a Chansey on board now. That's a big HP card, 120. Magmar coming in with a fire attached. We'll probably be trying to smoke screen. Ooh, and an item finder pitching 2 fire energy, even though we just got a bunch back from Town V, and it's another Town V! Does it come down immediately? Certainly not. Nope, it will be tucked back in with Furret Scavenger Hunt, along with what looks like a Imposter Oak's Revenge, I think? Yep. Imp Oak's Revenge going back in. I keep calling it Imposter Oak's Revenge because that's the card I'm familiar with. But it is in fact just Imposter Oak.
Yep, cool. Yep. Just making sure. One step. Well, I don't need it's not just sit back. Yeah, it's for it.
Alright, Scavenger Hunt now resolved.
So, Mag is helping buff it deals 10 damage.
And now we are talking about the benefits between Igglybuff versus Magby. I could see Magby being good in this Moltres deck.
Yeah, I could just like for it. No, what I'm saying is like I can like outplay it. Oh yeah. Play around.
And Smokescreen chips 10 onto Machamp. And again, if the defending Pokemon tries to attack during your opponent's next turn, they have to flip a coin. If tails, the attack does nothing. Could warp out of it though. Looks like we will be hitting up a trader here. Probably grabbing a Machamp, I have to assume. That Machoke's been on board for a while. And there is a Drag-Off Machamp from Skyridge. Immunity will be off, but Drag-Off is relevant here. We won't be able to see Drag-Off for 30 though because the Gold Berry's attached, but Drag-Off for 20 over and over, definitely pretty good. Terraforming. Oh, there's a Strength Charm, I believe. Only 2 cards, no need to fur it here. You kind of have set up what you need set up. Attempting to hit through Smokescreen. Smokescreen prevents the attack from getting off. Alright, back to Moltres. Cleffa comes down onto the board, prizing again 6-2 at the moment. DCE on the Chansey. That is for scrunch stalling, or if you want to take a knockout. You can always take a knockout. Smokescreen again. So that's 10 to the Machamp. Now that it's at 30, try to Healing Field. Fails, but that's fine. You'll have plenty of time to do that again. 3 cards in both players' hands. I think I see a Gust, an Item Finder, and something else. Maybe it's a Town V. No need to fur it here, in my opinion. Quick bin check. Not sure if we already terraformed, but a lot of these turns will start looping the same actions. Considering grabbing that Strength Charm. Yep, Town V and Gust going away with that item finder to get Strength Charm. And now the active Machamp is retreating with DCE. Can't attach that. That's jamming your tools there. Goldberry needs to pop before Strength Charm can get the attach. That was going to be a drag off for knockout on a baby. Probably Cleffa. Instead, looks like we're going to do Hurricane Punch. So 30 for each heads here. 4 dice get rolled. 30 damage only? 3 tails there? Alright. Magmar survives. Putting DC, or not DC, putting Town V in the bin. Not ideal against this deck.
It's all good. Honestly, I forget sometimes.
Healing Field fails.
Shut up your ability. Shut up the fur. Sure.
And Igglybuff will gaze the Furret to shut off Scavenger Hunt, which effectively, for those watching at home, does nothing. Because it's only until the end of this turn. Potential retreat from Magmar here. Looks like it. Putting that glittery classic collection Fire Energy into the trash bin. And Scrunch works for Chansey. Now while Terraform is resolving, it's worth noting that you can drag off through Scrunch, so Scrunch just prevents all damage done to Chansey by attacks for the next turn. Yep, there's the drag off for 20. So much for Scrunching. 50 on the Magmar. Now it's basically good as gone because one more drag off will take it as a prize.
To be honest, I don't want just right yet because metal. Yeah. But
You're there for Scrunch.
I'm there for Scrunch, not for if I wanted to.
Healing Field attempted. It succeeds, knocking it down to 30. That's a big deal because Hurricane Punch only does 30 per heads. A little awkward with the Goldberry attached just because that dangles 30. Goldberry might not be enough to save it. If the active Machamp retreats with DCE and Furret goes and grabs another DCE from the deck, Iron Fist can come back in and just take the knockout and remove a Goldberry for free. Of course, Moltres on the bench there, starting to look a little scary. And it will be a pass. No energy to get off a smoke screen there. Furret will tuck. Is this going to be the DCE play we were talking about? Retreat with the DCE, attach a DCE, and then Iron Fist with that DCE? Or is there not one in there? There's one in the bin, there's one attached. Instead, we see a warp? Is that in lieu of DCE? I don't see a DCE. Uh-oh, I'm gonna have to check the bin and or prizing. Terraforming here. Looks like it just put a fighting energy on top. Strength Charm still in hand. Whoops. Just Hurricane Punch at this point. And it will. 30 per heads, just need 2. And that is 3, so that's 90 damage. Effectively vaporizing that Magmar and getting down to prize parity. 1 prize remaining for Machamp. 6 for Wildfire as it goes. Could mill 4 here. Recycle Energy and Cleffa are now in the active for Moltres. And no longer, we're going to bring in Moltres with 4 fire. And Wildfire for 4 goes off. So that's everything Terraforming could have seen. And as a result of Terraforming, I assume that didn't hit anything too valuable. Deck still too big. And now Moltres has that Moltres stuck inactive. Granted, it has a focus band. Here's DCE. That comes down onto Iron Fist Machamp. Gonna hit up a Furret, scavenger hunt for something. And after scavenger hunting, it's always nice to be able to terraform into a fresh 4. If your terraform was kind of getting stale. It's a cool little interaction. Alright, Hurricane Punch. Looks like that was 90. Hits the tails on the focus band for the final knockout, warping the prize. So, good game. Thank you for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. We will catch you next time.
Oh, I lost.